Hello everybody, MD Polo here. Thank you for joining me. On the table today we're going to look at the Smith & Wesson SW1911 E-Series and 45 ACP. Upfront disclaimer, I'm not an expert in 1911s, and just like with revolvers, I am getting my feet wet. I'm learning about the platform, so please bear with me, and if I misrepresent something, say something incorrectly, kindly let me know in a gentle manner in the comments. I want to bring your attention to a channel that is an expert in 1911s, and his name is Rider's Range. He's got a great series also of videos explaining and comparing different types of 1911s, and a couple of them, at least a couple of them that I know of, use the E-Series 1911 by Smith & Wesson that you see in front of you. So please check him out, Rider's Range, here on YouTube. Now diving into this pistol, what is it? It's a 1911, of course, and it's a 5-inch barrel, and it's chambered, as I said, in 45 ACP. Now, why am I bringing this pistol to your attention? Well, a couple of things, and by the way, this pistol has been safety checked. For this 1911 by Smith & Wesson, I think it represents a tremendous value for the features that you get. So it has features that you will find in higher-end 1911s, but you're not going to pay that price, and that's why I think it makes this thing special. Now, with pistols, at least with my lighting setup, which I'm playing with and trying to optimize it, it's always a challenge to film pistols or rifles, anything that has a very shiny slide, because it just reflects the light and becomes a challenge to the camera. So I'm working through that right now. But this is a government size 1911. It's got a 5-inch barrel, and it's, as I said, it's chambered in 45 ACP. It's got an awesome trigger, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But it is a pistol with all these features. Like I said, it's not going to break the bank. So I'd like to call it, let's say it's a middle class, upper middle class pistol. As far as guns are concerned, 1911s. So letting you walk around, take a look at it. Starting at the top, let's look at the slide. It is, of course, stainless steel. It's milled out of one piece of stainless steel. And at the front, you're going to have the sights is our 3-dot sight system. It's a Novak style system, and they're doved in if you wish to change them. Smith & Wesson has several models of the 1911 of the E-Series, and also they have the Performance Center line of pistols. Some of them will come with night sights. Some of this specific model will come with night sights. This one didn't. But they are metal sights, Novak style. Moving towards the back, you're going to have a skeletonized trigger that it is serrated. It's got a nice serration there, so they're grippy. Like letting you look at the other side and the focus catch up. You got front and rear serrations on this slide. They're very positive, a little bit on the sharp side, but nothing that is going to hurt you, cut you, or if you got delicate fingers, make you sore for a couple of days after you shoot it. So I like them. Some people don't like they call them fish scales, but I like them. That's what they look like up close. Then you've got the Smith & Wesson logo with the model number, the Smith & Wesson 1911, and their logo to the left of that, camera left. Now the one thing is, it is not engraved. It's like a laser is lasered in. And this pistol doesn't have a lot of rounds. It hasn't been shot very much, but as you can see, it's already starting to rub off right there. So I saw somebody that actually had the sides polished. This is considered what Smith & Wesson calls it a satin finish, a steel satin finish, and the top is matte finish. It's not as shiny as the sides are. This is like a matte finish, and then you've got the serrations that go along the length of the slide. So that's nice. It cuts down on the glare. So you got matte finish on top, and you got a satin finish on the side. There we go. So I'm thinking about maybe having the side, just this areas here and here and here on both sides, polished really, really nice and bright. But of course that would make this Smith & Wesson disappear. So what do you think? Would that look good, or would that be sacrilege to remove the Smith & Wesson name even though it's starting to rub off? The one thing on this pistol that I really don't like is when the lawyers get involved and start treating us like children, and they have to ruin the look of this beautiful 1911 with a legal billboard. But there it is. I really wish that wasn't there, just for the aesthetic side of it. So letting you take a look at it here. Looking at it on the other side, you're going to see the oversized and heavy-duty external extractor. Now, as I understand it, some purists believe that the extractor should not be an external extractor, and they don't like it. I really don't care either way. Maybe I don't know enough about them to care, but this one has worked perfectly fine. Another feature of this particular 1911 is the ejection port. It has been flared and lowered, so you got a larger ejection port for the spent casings to fly out of there. So all that, again, a plus on a pistol of this price. All the controls are black, which is a nice contrast with a steel frame. And typical 1911 controls, you got your slide stop here. And then the safety is not ambidextrous, as you can see here, but it is a decent size. You see it there. It is serrated. It's not huge, it's not competition size, but I think for range and carry, home defense, it all works really well. It gives you a nice platform to rest your thumb, and it works very nice. It's a very positive. The gun has been safety checked, although the mag is in it. The gun has been safety checked. So here you go, the safety is very positive. It doesn't feel plasticky, it doesn't wobble. It's very, very nicely done. And since I got the mag out of the pistol, let's talk about that for a second. It comes with two mags, or it should come with two mags. This is the Smith & Wesson mag. It's 8+1. This I bought used, the gun, I bought it used, so it came with one Smith & Wesson mag. So I went out and bought a Wilson Combat. So this is the Wilson Combat mag, and this is the one I've been using mostly. It's got a snap cap in it, but you can see the differences between the two. Now, I've had zero problems with either one. I just end up using the Wilson Combat more for whatever reason. But there are some differences on the design of the two, especially when you look at the follower and how it sits. This is just one solid ramp, and it doesn't have this lip up here. Some people say that this is not as reliable as the design on the Wilson Combat, but you'd be the judge of that. So it comes with those two mags, and I digress a little bit, but it came in the regular Smith & Wesson blue box, and inside of it you don't get anything special except you get the wax paper, you get the bushing tool for takedown, and that's about all you get in the case. All right. Now, going back to the frame, the trigger guard, as you can see, is oval. It doesn't have any serrations, any sort of texture at all whatsoever, but it gives you enough room. Enough room if you got big fingers, you're shooting with gloves, everything's going to work just fine. It houses a skeletonized trigger that does have texture. You've got serrations in the front of it, and it's adjustable for over travel. I have not touched that. It was perfectly set from the factory, and we'll take a look at that in a second. Moving a little bit further back, you've got the mag ejector, and it is not huge. It's not, for sure, is not competition size, but it's big enough and textured, and it's also positioned in the right place where, having medium-sized hands, I can actually reach it and eject without really breaking my shooting grip. So that's very nice. It works well. The grips are the signature 1911 grips by Smith & Wesson, the E-Series, and it does have some checkering up here, and then the fish scale serrations that are made to match the slide serrations. They look really pretty. I think they're very elegant. But if you're going to spend some serious time at the range or shoot it a lot in one going, they're not as functional. They get a little bit slippery, especially if your hands start to get a little bit sweaty. But I think they're very pretty, elegant wood laminate grips. Some people change them to solid English walnut grips, something like that, but these are the ones that come with the pistol. Now, the good folks over at LOK Grips have sent me a couple of sets of their grips for the 1911, and I think you've seen them before in a previous video, but I'll bring them out again just to show you. And I really like this. It has the texture kind of like limestone. See if the focus will catch up. There you go. So it's kind of like limestone, and it's got the American flag. It's a great texture. They're very, very grippy. I like the way they feel. And let's see how I do this with a focus. But that's what they would look like. Let me try to do this without scratching the wood grips. So that's what it looks like. And I really like the contrast. I like the American flag on it. Let's see which way, maybe there. So that's what that looks like. And then they sent a set of their bogey grips. And that's what that looks like. This is very aggressive texture. And that's how they look on the pistol. So what are your thoughts? Which one do you like more? And I've got a couple more sets coming that are completely different than these, so I'll show you that when those arrive. But these are very nice. It gives you a very good texture, and like I said, these are by the guys at LOK. If you haven't checked them out, look them up. Really nice people, and they're helping the channel, so I appreciate that very much. Sticking with the grip, we're going to take a look at the front and rear checkering on the grip. I'm not quite sure if it's 20 or 25 lines per inch, but it's very well done. They're aggressive without being too sharp that they're going to hurt you. Their rear serration over the mainspring housing is also very aggressive, similar texture to the front, but this plate is plastic. And that's where maybe it comes into play that is not a hand-fitted, $2,000 pistol, but it does its job and it does not feel plasticky. I actually had to do a little research to figure out if it was plastic or metal. That's how well done it is. Going to the bottom, there's really no magwell to speak of. It's not flared or oversized in any way, but it does its job, but it's not, by no means is a competition magwell. Let you walk around. The fit and finish on this pistol is fantastic, especially for the price point. And I keep going back to that because it is a great value. If you look at the back, let the focus catch up a little bit. You can see the differences in the fit back here and here, especially comparing it to a very high-end 1911. But for a production pistol, is very well done. And there is no play on it whatsoever. I mean, there's none. No matter how you play, there's almost no rattle. This doesn't move. And going back to the front, here's something I really like, and again, it's another high-end feature. It is that the barrel is flush with a bushing. The competitor to this would be the Ruger, and you can see that the barrel sticks out, and several of them stick out further than the bushing. So you take a look at that. I really like the way that was done and the way it looks. Now taking a look at the trigger. Now this is a Series 70. There it is. And as I understand it, most Smith & Wesson 1911s, with the exception of this model and with the exception of the Performance Centers, they were Series 80. Now this is a Series 70, and there is a lot more to whether it's a Series 70 or a Series 80 than just either the presence or the absence of a firing pin safety. but that's for another video, and also for me to get more knowledge on. But it is considered a Series 70 pistol. Now, going to the trigger, it is a really, really nice trigger. Let me put a snap cap in here. So, bear with me a second here. Okay, now the snap cap is loaded. There's my safety. But going into the trigger, it is really, really, really nice. It's got a very clean, crisp trigger pull. Let me show you right there. Your take up anything, it's right there. Boom, that's it. You just move that, you're at the wall. And then you just press and it breaks. I mean, there's no over travel, there's nothing. So for a pistol that you can routinely get in a normal environment under $1,000, I mean, look at this. Click. Just fabulous. The trigger is fantastic on this thing. It is a little heavier than I'd like, but again, for the price, I think it is fantastic. It is routinely breaking around 4.5 pounds. Most of them are coming in at 4.5 pounds. Now, looking what's under the hood, under the hood of this thing, I'm not going to take it apart, mainly because I'm still trying to get comfortable with it, and also because I don't want to put an idiot mark on the side of it, especially not on camera. But let me tell you what's under the hood. I'll put it down for a second. So as I mentioned before, we got a 5-inch barrel, we got a highly polished feed ramp, we got a full-length guide rod, and my understanding is some people think that's also blasphemous, that it should not have a full-length guide rod. I don't know enough to know either way, except that it works perfectly fine for me. It's got a titanium firing pin. It's got a recessed crown and barrel bushing, like I just showed you up front. And like I mentioned, I like the fact that it's got the tip of the barrel, I'm sorry, brain fade. The tip of the barrel is flush at the front. The overall length on this pistol is 8.7 inches. The action, of course, is single action. It's weighs 39.6 ounces unloaded and 45.8 ounces with an 8+1. So those are the specs on it. The MSRP on this pistol was supposed to be around $979. I see it routinely in stores around the $1,200 mark, $1,200 mark. And before all this buying craziness started, you could find them online around $800, $850. They do have a tactical version of this that has a rail on it, so you can mount your lasers or whatever you want on it, lights. And it also, the tactical version comes in at around $1,400, $1,399 actually. And for the extra $430, you get tritium night sights, you get the extender beaver tail, you get a precision trigger. The trigger's been worked out a little bit more. You get an ambi safety on that model, which you don't get here. And that's about it. So again, this pistol I think represents a lot of value for the money. It is a great shooter. I think it's a very good looking gun, and I would like to know what you think about it. So there you go, Smith & Wesson 1911 E-Series. Please let me know what you think about it. Do you own one? What are your thoughts? The shooting experience, I almost forgot that. It's a nice typical 45 ACP. The recoil is not a porpoising effect. This particular one shoots very deep into the web of your hand. So not much to say there, except that it's a very, very enjoyable pistol to shoot. So there you go. Thank you very much. I always feel like a fish out of water when I'm talking about a pistol that I don't, a platform that I'm still starting to know. So if I've stumbled a bit, please bear with me. I upload videos every Friday morning and sometimes when I can on Wednesday mornings. So please subscribe if you like what you hear, what you see. And also I'm becoming very active on Instagram. So I would ask you that you follow me on Instagram, and I routinely put things there that let you know what's coming in the channel before it hits YouTube. So thank you very much. And until the next time, God bless.